welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. I have several topics I want to talk about, but let's start out with Americans duped and deceived by the elected officials. I want to look at several topics this morning. The census, the shutdown, who is essential and non-essential, the wall, and I have a story that's very heartwarming, the American dream. Now, I was taught in school, that's a long time ago, I know that. Back when you had to know your Constitution, you had to take a test. We had to take a test in junior high, and then we had to take it again in high school. But I was taught that the census was to be taken every 10 years for the purpose to count the population, voting citizens, in which would determine your number of representatives. Now, on a side note, I'm going to chase a little rabbit here. Congress has been talking about, particularly the Democrats, that they want to change the senators to the same ratio as representatives. In doing this, their hopes are to bypass, believe it or not, the Electoral College and the majority or minorities of this and that. And if they continue to work the system to take away the Electoral College, we are done as an independent nation, a sovereign people. It's gone. But back to the census. The constitutional topic of the census is in Article 1, Section 2, and the Constitution includes the phrase, enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall be by law direct. So, does a federal judge have the authority to block a question suggested by the President of the United States on the census form? So that's kind of what I wanted to get to here, as well as I downloaded some census questions, and I wanted to bring those to you. This federal judge on Tuesday rejected President Donald Trump's administration, the plan to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census questionnaire. The U.S. District Judge Jesse Furman in Manhattan said the 18 U.S. state, 15 cities, and various civil rights groups that challenged Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross' addition to the question proved it as more likely than not that they would be harmed if it were added. Now that's a bunch of hooey. You got that? This is about voting citizenship. It's not about your race. It's not about your color. It's not really about your gender. It's your voting establishment. It's where if you can vote. That's what a census is all about. How many people, how many representatives? Now let's look at a census. Let's just look at one. This one is from 2010 that I downloaded. And the questions. Now, I heard last night, I didn't have a chance to really investigate that the citizenship question had been on the census, but President Barack Obama removed it. So now it's immoral, it's wrong, it's against the law, it's crazy. So if you look at the questions on these on the census, it's a bunch of repetition. Now, the first question, how many people are living or staying in this house, apartment, or mobile home on April 1, 2020? And then there's a little box for you to fill in how many people. Number 2, were there any additional people staying here April 1, 2010 that you did not include in the question number 1? Oh, did you lie on question number 1? That's question number 2. Number 3, is this house, apartment, or mobile home, which is it? Is it a house, is it an apartment, or is it a mobile home? Now, why is that important to know as far as how many representatives you have? Number 4, what is your telephone number? We may call if we don't understand an answer. So they list a place there for you to put your phone number. Number 5, please provide information for each person living here, starting with person number 1, I guess, living here, who owns or rents this house, apartment. In other words, if you're the head of the house there, you own that mobile home, you're the one paying the rent on the apartment, or you own that house. So you're number 1. That's person number 1. First question for person number 1 is your name, obviously. The second question for person number 1 is, what sex are you? Well, now I would think in the last year and a half, that would be a question they shouldn't be asking, because who knows? Number 7, what is person number 1's age, and what is person number 1's date of birth? And I'm thinking, okay, these guys, they went to school, right? So they have to have your age and your date of birth. They can't figure it out, because you know this goes into a computer, and they can't figure out your age, so you have to put it down for them. It also says, please answer both questions 8 about Hispanic origin and question 9 about race. For this census, Hispanic origins are, I can't read the end of the question. It didn't come on the back of the page here. So then it goes into what person number 1, Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. It doesn't ask you if you're Italian, if you're Irish, or if you're black, or if you're white. Why do you think that is? Just why do you think that is? What is person number 1's race? There it goes on now. Are you white? Are you black, African American, or Negro? American Indian or Alaskan Native? Now, what difference does any of that make? And why is the Latino question separate from the race question? Okay, let's go on. It also asks if you're Asian, Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Native Hawaiian. Now, why does that matter? Guatemalan, Somalian, other Pacific Islander. I'm thinking the people that fill these things out, that create these census, might be considered non-essential. I'm just saying. So does person number 1 sometimes live or stay somewhere else? That's number 10. If more people were counted in question number 1, continue with person number 2. And then it goes to the same questions for each person. And I'm not sure how many people it has. 6. So when we were filling this out, I do remember here several years ago when we were filling it out, they didn't have enough. That was when I still had all the kids at home, because it only went to 6 and we had 7, so we had to add some to it. These questions are less important. I guess I can kind of halfway understand the sex, although that's also a question these days. But it doesn't matter what race. In my opinion, possibly I'm wrong. I know it did matter back in one day. But it doesn't matter about the race, and it certainly doesn't matter which origin you were from when you're Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish. Why does that matter in a census? When the most important thing, which the judge has denied, is whether you're a citizen of the United States, a voting citizen of the United States of America. The census. Every 10 years. I read 2010. I have 2018. That's not 10. 877-895-5410 is the number to call if you're going to talk about the census. And we will be right back.